Welcome back to Central Mass Chronicles. Our next topic concerns a structure, a whole complex that is opening in the near future, like next Saturday, depending on when you watch this show. The long-awaited Blackstone Valley Visitor Center is finally opening this Saturday, along with the nearby Middle River Boardwalk. A decade in the making and the product of more collaborations and hybrid organizations than is possible to describe, the center occupies a site beside Route 146 at the very headwaters of the Blackstone River. Is this a meaningful enterprise or a colossal folly? And now that they have finally built it, will anybody come? Do people actually use visitor centers? And will anybody actually get off the highway to enjoy the fancy exhibitry and more? I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it's more than a visitor center. You know, I think they've taken some of those concerns in their design and plan to try to make it something more than a visitor center. And the fact that it's part of this heritage corridor, I think makes it more than a visitor center, right? So it's not just about Worcester, it's about the Industrial Revolution in the United States.
And the whole Blackstone Valley.
Right. So people will come to see that. People will bring their school, the programs, and visitors will. I will go. I will go visit.
Yeah, I was struck by anything that can focus on that river and the bike paths and everything connecting to the two cities. I think that's wonderful, and I was struck by Paul Clancy Lane. We're going to have a
Paul Clancy Way.
We're going to have a Barbara Haller Lane
I
up
hope
there.
not.
Not until she dies. Not until she dies. Then I'll lead the charge. Yeah, I know.
You've brought a lot of people together, state government, and a lot of money's been put into it. Holy Cross is got up. I give them credit for coming off the campus.
I think they were really the saving partner.
That's
well,
right.
And they should be. It's right at their back door.
And I think that's a start to just let's and it's the first piece that really shows up on the river, and then they grow. I just hope it grows. I mean, I think they need to continue to put the bike paths and things like that, and hopefully it will get used.
I think it might be attractive to Holy Cross students to take a bike ride, down the river. Yeah. I'm amazed that it actually finally came to fruition.
Oh, I know.
After that fire,
I
mean, who thought that it would, they'd be able to pull it together? Because
there are a lot of driving forces behind that, which is good.
You throw in a little federal money or a lot of federal money.
That was it.
But I do think initially it's going to be an educational tool. I would hope that all the schools in all these towns would take advantage of this.
Unfortunately, they're moving offices down there, right? Which office? The
well, the DCR, division, but that's good because they'll have people. Okay.
But I'm assuming that the exhibit will explain everything, because that is key. We were just in Petra in Jordan, and had it not been for seeing the exhibit in advance and reading through all this about this civilization, which we had never heard of, the Nabateans.
The rock temples and all that. God, I want to go there.
We would not have understood, what we were looking at, because there were no signs, telling you. So that's key. If they've done, and I have not seen it, so I can't say, but if they've done a good job of explaining, how
and there's
various
interactive
steps.
screens. I think they really have put.
This is important. It could, it could almost, rival what they have.
So I think it's a mistake to brand it as a visitor center, because it's so much more than that.
I would agree with that. I'm not sure. What they say is we want to send people elsewhere. In other words, we want people to come, and we can send them to Blackstone Valley. We can send them to the Historical Museum, et cetera. And I guess that's true. But you have to have enough attractive stuff right there. We have to remember it is not the Historical Museum. In the previous scheme, all of that exhibitry was going to be there.
Right.
They've got less of that. But I'll tell you what excites me. I've been on the boardwalk a couple of times on the Middle River. Right. It's fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Sure,
it's just fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle of the city. You just have this stretch of marsh, which is, nothing extraordinary, but the idea that you can walk along the boardwalk, you can take get your exercise and whatnot. I absolutely love it. And then at the visitor center itself, the Blackstone Valley Bikeway comes choo-choo-choo right under the bridge and bloop right to a station where you can pump your tires and get some water and stuff like that. But it's a perfect kickoff for the bikeway.
You know, the other thing I like about it is it's going to have a community flavor, especially from a regional point of view, the whole meetings and programs and
there's a
whatever.
meeting room.
And by the way, they need to have a very active outreach program, either volunteer or people there who are going to be reminding people and bringing people in for programs or whatever. Because if they think it's just going to sit there and people are just going to show up, I don't think so. I think it's Holy Cross students maybe and others, but they really have got, and they can do that. I mean, a lot of them, you look at Broad Meadow Brook and the job that Debbie Carey's done out there. I mean, she's showing up, and it just didn't happen, and they're getting people down there. So they maybe take a page out of that project and do the same thing, because someone's got to be promoting and putting programs
I think it's all in the programming. I don't know if they have the staff to do it. They don't really have any staff. The Heritage Corridor organization, which is now a nonprofit organization, is not part of government, is located down in Whitensville. I think they ought to be located here, but that'll take something away from Whitensville. So I don't know, but it's
Well, there is going to be staff. I believe Holy Cross is contributing
they're contributing
towards
to
those expenses.
some money for
Half of
staff
it or
person.
something.
but a lot of it is volunteer hosts and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
fine.
And but to actively program it, it's a lot of hard work.
I also think Harry Whiten has been a cheerleader for a long time.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
nice that
Harry,
he was
and
so involved.
as a leader of that group, I have more faith in the project because he's a no-nonsense guy, and I think he'll be able to. He's got the Blackstone Valley, he's got the Worcester, he's got all of those connections to bring people, raise money, do those kinds of things. So having him kind of lead the charge, at least as a volunteer.
Yeah, and
chair.
we've driven that corridor down to Pawtucket.
It goes all the way to Pawtucket. That's the
Right.
Slater Mill at
And we
Pawtucket.
went to
And
the
then
mills, and we went
Yeah.
into the museums there and stuff. And it's a
Woonsocket.
wonderful drive.
Yeah.
You're driving through people's neighborhoods. I mean,
It's
it's wonderful.
I love the lore of the Blackstone Valley. I think because I had never heard of it, and then I sort of discovered it on my own. My first reporting job was down in Uxbridge, and I said, "What's the Blackstone Valley? What is this?" I had no knowledge of it, and the idea that it literally was the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution
that
is
is-
extraordinary,
yes.
and all the mill experience
Yes.
going down. So the more they can sort of develop cultural tourism for those somewhat depressed towns all the way along, I'm all in favor of it. I think it's a great thing.
So we'll see. Time will tell.
All right. Well, we're optimistic. Don't go away. We'll be right back.